What is going on, everybody? It's Bronson. We're here with our AEW Beach Break edition of TBS for January the 28th, 26, 2022. This was a really good show. The opener was fire, the right man won, and the main event was our lights out match, where we had a debut. It wasn't the debut I think everybody was expecting, but we had a debut who was officially signed with AEW, and that would be Danhausen. Danhausen has made his debut in a very strange way. We'll get into that when we get into the main event. But he is officially signed to AEW. Tony Khan made it official. He is All Elite. So Danhausen is going to be probably somebody you'll see like on Dark Elevation more than you will on Wednesday night or Friday night. I mean, yeah, we'll probably see him on Wednesday and Friday. But he's one of those guys, and I know he's still coming back from injury, but he looked like he was walking around just fine tonight. But the fact that he is the guy who made his debut tonight is very strange in the way he did. Now, I know everyone was probably thinking, oh, we're in Cleveland, the home of Johnny Gargano. This is going to be the night he makes his debut. No, he did not. And there were fans in the crowd chanting Johnny Wrestling. Not the whole crowd, but there were fans during the main event chanting Johnny Wrestling, and people probably thought we were going to get Johnny Gargano making his debut. I'm fine with him not making his debut tonight. It would have been way too predictable in my book. So I'm sure Tony Khan knew that. It was like, if we're going to have Johnny Gargano join AEW, it's not going to be tonight. Why would we do it tonight to make it so predictable? What if he shows up after his, like, honestly, this is the thing about this. Candice is going to be giving birth next month, am I right? Or is it in March? I think it's next month. Why would you bring Johnny Gargano in now and have him make his debut, wrestle for a week or two, and then go away for maternity leave to be with his wife, who's having a baby soon? A better spot for him to make his debut if he's coming to AEW will probably be Revolution, because it would be a bigger pop, it'll be a bigger night, and honestly, it will be if she is having a baby next month, which I believe is what it was next month, then it will obviously be better because he'll be able to spend time with his wife and his kid and get all of the maternity leave stuff out of this. Heck, he might have signed with AEW, but they're like, Tony's like, okay, we could debut tonight, but it wouldn't make any sense to have you come in now, try to start anything with you, because you know how people were complaining about Jay Lethal not having much to do right now, even though he just now got announced for next week on Rampage. Not this week, but next week on Rampage. Ricky Starks versus Jay Lethal for the FTW Championship. So that is going to be something we'll be seeing next week. So yeah, Jay Lethal is doing stuff, but people are complaining about that, about Adam Cole coming in and being where he's at in the card. So when Johnny Gargano comes in, if he was to come in for a few weeks and then disappear because Candice is having the baby, dumbasses who don't realize that Candice is having a baby are going to be like, where's Johnny Gargano been? He just showed up in AEW and then disappeared for a few weeks. So it would make more sense if Gargano was to make his debut after Candice has her baby and after they have a few weeks of maternity leave. That's what I think. Let Johnny and Candice have their family time together. Let Johnny have a little bit more time to relax. He's been off wrestling for a month and a half, for 2 months now. And if you take time away from wrestling, he's got to train and get himself back into shape and everything. And it's going to take a while for him to get back to where he needs to be. So it's fine that he didn't make his debut tonight. I think it would have been too predictable. It would have been a massive pop. Let's not forget about it. But tonight, Cleveland had to deal with only having Wardlow being the hometown guy, which is fine by me. So we started off tonight's show, Sammy Gavar versus Cody Rhodes, Undisputed TNT Championship. I will say, I know it would never happen. I don't like the way they had the titles up in the thing. They had this long bar with both titles on one half each side, which if this was another company, you would have seen them book this where both guys are fighting up, both grab a championship, pull them down, and nothing was resolved. I just didn't like the way it looked. I think it looked dumb. I do like the WWE thing, which is this big golden thing that has room for both titles to be like laying on if you have two titles. But this was like, I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it was my acoustics on my computer while I watched this or what, but I swear when they were introducing both guys were booed. I didn't hear much cheering when Sammy got introduced, and of course you had Cody Rhodes getting the most heat. Biggest spots of the entire night were two in this match. There was nothing on this show that was going to top the big spots, even though Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole had their own big spot in the ending match, but it was not even close. Halfway through the match, they're fighting up top, and Cody Rhodes had Sammy Gavar and had him in a stalling suplex on top of this really, really tall ladder, and they landed with a big superplex. It was nuts. A little bit later in the match, Sammy's off on the corner with a ladder, and Cody's trying to climb up, and Sammy springboards off the first ladder he's on and hits a cutter out of the sky. It was a thing of beauty. Now, before both of those spots happened, they were fighting on the outside, and I don't know why they had him go into the crowd. That felt a little unnecessary. But Sammy springs into the crowd after Cody threw him back over into the ringside area, and he nailed a cutter as well. So Sammy with the cutters tonight was fucking crazy. This match was awesome. Sammy wins and is the Undisputed TNT champion. Did the old John Cena getting hit with the title, like when John Cena, I think it was John Cena versus Randy Orton or somebody, where they hit him with the title and he fell over and that person won the match. They did that here where Cody gets, Sammy, they're fighting up top. Sammy hits Cody with the title belts. Cody falls to the mat and Sammy Guevara picks up the win. And what was probably the best ladder match we have seen in 2 decades. This was a damn good match. And finally, somebody gets put over on Cody. Cody can go off and do whatever. Go away, promote, go Big Show. And Sammy keeps the TNT Championship. And this proves without a shadow of a doubt that the only reason that Cody Rhodes won the championship on December 25th in that taped episode was for the moment in Greensboro. That was it. There was no rhyme or reason why Sammy Guevara should have lost that championship. Sammy didn't need to have Cody put him over in this ladder match. My biggest question is, had the medical protocol not happened between Sammy and Cody, with Cody and Sammy didn't have the TNT interim TNT title match at Battle of the Belts, what match would have been here? How would you have been able to justify a ladder match between these two? The only way a ladder match would have worked is if you had an interim champion and an actual champion. So, and then the other question is, had the medical protocol not happened, would it have been Sammy versus Cody one-on-one, and would Sammy have won the TNT Championship back on January 8th? A lot of questions that come out of this match. And what's next for Cody? We did see a lot of times during this match, Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert were watching from somewhere in the arena. And no Ethan Paige, which makes no sense. I figured they would have had both of those guys sitting there, just, scouting and everything. But it looks like they're going to probably lead to Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. Make that for Revolution if you want Sammy Guevara to drop the championship to Scorpio Sky. Have Sammy, of course, win a couple more matches, build that title up. Honestly, I wouldn't have Sammy Guevara drop the championship again until Double or Nothing. Give this guy a lengthy title reign. There was no, and it just shows again that Sammy Guevara was not the actual champion for an entire month for absolutely no fucking reason. No reason. Like I said, the ladder match was fine. There was no reason to have this match, period. But it is what it is. They took the title off of Sammy just to give Cody Rhodes another moment, because that's all Cody Rhodes wants is moments. Screw putting over talent. Screw the long-term success of AEW. As long as Cody Rhodes gets his precious moments, he doesn't give a shit. And he's never going to turn heel. Anybody who thinks Cody Rhodes is going to turn heel, you're out of your fucking mind. He's already proven that he's not going to turn heel. This guy is going to try and be the John Cena of AEW, even though he ain't even half the talent that John Cena was when it comes to the crowd, the merchandise sales, and everything else. Cody Rhodes can wish, but he will never be as big as John Cena was. Tony Schiavone was interviewing Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks at the freezing cold beach, which Powerhouse Hobbs just had his suspenders on that he usually has, no t-shirt and a jacket, while Ricky Starks was bundled up, and Tony Schiavone had a coat on, and there was no getting the microphone out of Tony Schiavone's hand this time because it froze to his hand. So, for the first time in probably a while, Tony Schiavone did not have the microphone ripped from him. Of course, Powerhouse Hobbs says Dante Martin got lucky last time, and that why don't we just do it again one more time? They have not named that match for Friday or next Wednesday, so it's either going to happen next Wednesday or next Friday, and it just hasn't been announced. We only have one match announced for next week. We will know more on Friday, of course. So, Rampage, so basically Ricky Starks challenges Jay Lethal for the FTW title next week in Chicago, baby, for the FTW Championship, and that should be a damn good match. Anyone complaining that Jay Lethal isn't being used, well, there you go. He gets a big title match, even though it's the FTW title, and half the time I don't think they care about the FTW title. But Jay Lethal versus Ricky Starks should be a damn good match. Wardlow takes on two jobbers, Elijah Dean and James Alexander. He drops both men, bounces them across the ring, hits the first powerbomb on one dude, another powerbomb on the other dude. The other guy gets up, so he powerbombs again. And just powerbombs them back and forth, gets 5 powerbombs off, picks the last guy up, powerbombs him on his tag partner, and puts his foot down on him, poses, and 1, 2, 3 as the crowd counts with him. Wardlow wins, easy match. I love what they're doing with Wardlow. This guy is going to be a big-time babyface. After the match is over, Shawn Spears wants to come down. He actually stayed on the ramp. And Wardlow pretty much tells him, like, nah, dude, not tonight. You are not doing shit tonight because this is my hometown. We ain't doing this shit. And Shawn Spears is like, fine, whatever, man. And they go off, and that is that. So Wardlow will be turning on these guys very, very soon. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. Chris Jericho, Santana Ortiz versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Now, this is very telling because it looks like we're seeing the end of Santana Ortiz, Chris Jericho partnership. Now, I think it's time. Santana and Ortiz have been a part of the Inner Circle since day one of the show. When they debuted in 2019, that very first episode ended with Jericho, Santana Ortiz, Sammy Gavar, and Jake Hager all standing tall over the Rhodes family and a couple others. It is time for these guys to go their separate ways. Sammy Gavar, it's like you have the Pinnacle, like ever since the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle came to its conclusion, the Pinnacle is not together that often, and neither is the Inner Circle. Sammy Guevara wrestled tonight in a damn good ladder match. Oh yeah, Fuego del Sol tried to help Sammy Guevara, and that did, I think, help lead to his victory somewhat. But the only person who had any, congratulated Sammy at all was Sammy Guevara. Where was Santana? Where was Ortiz? Where was Jericho? Where's Jake Hager been? He's been MIA for a long time. It's time for these guys to go their separate ways. Now, you could do one or two things. One, they I can't even say the word. They can go their separate ways on an amicable, I can't say the word, I'm sorry. But, and peacefully, I should just say, peacefully. Or, Jericho turns on Santana Ortiz, and the only way Chris Jericho could ever turn heel again is he has to change his music. He cannot use Judas anymore as a heel. Because fans are just going to sing it, and the guy's going to try and be a heel, but people are going to just sing it, he's going to smile, and all that, and it's just not going to work. So if Jericho turns heel on Santana Ortiz, which, the way the match started, Jericho was going to start the match with Matt Lee. Santana tags himself in. Now, before we got to this match even started, the 2.0 and Daniel Garcia were in the middle of the ring. No entrance, so you know who's winning this match. You're not going to have those guys win that way. The Inner Circle's coming out, and Santana Ortiz just beeline it to the ring. They want nothing to do with Jericho and his bullshit with the Judas and all that. So they're in the ring. Jericho takes his time getting down to the ring. Santana Ortiz want nothing to do with this. And they spend the majority of this match tagging themselves in and out. And anytime Jericho tags in, one of the other guys would tag in. They did not want to deal with Jericho. So it was pretty much a 2-on-1 handicap match for a majority of this time because Jericho wasn't. They didn't want Jericho 2-on-3, not 2-on-1, but 2-on-3 handicap match. And like they said last week, they don't want to deal with Jericho. They're going to worry about themselves. Funny enough, Jericho was the reason they won this match. So Jericho, the match is just going as it is. Say Ortiz gets knocked down, Jericho does not. Not Ortiz, I'm sorry. Santana gets knocked down, Jericho does not towards the end of this match. Ortiz is getting up. He's trying to go over and tag in somebody. Jericho's up, and Santana eventually gets up, and Ortiz tags Santana. Jericho's like, I've had enough of this. Steps down to the floor and heads and looks like he's about to head to the back and say, fuck this shit. You want to be on your own? Be on your own. So Jericho is just standing on the outside watching these guys go. 2.0 tries to go for 2 for the show. Jericho pulls, I believe it was Matt Lee out. Let me get this right. It was Jeff Parker. Let's see. Garcia and Ortiz brought on the outside the ring. Jericho, brings out Jeff Parker. Lee then Lee gets rolled up for a 2 count. He gets bounced up. Jericho with the Judas effect onto Matt Lee. We get a power driver from Santana. 1, 2, 3. The Inner Circle wins because of Jericho. So Jericho is walking to the back. He's just walking there and he's like, is this why you guys want to do this? And then he just flips off Santana and Ortiz. No follow-up to this. I don't know why we didn't get any follow-up. Hopefully we'll next week. But it looks like we're going to be going our separate ways with Santana and Ortiz, who should be fighting for tag team titles instead of just being lackeys of Chris Jericho. I think that time has come and gone. Unfortunately, with the whole Eddie Kingston breaking his orbital bone at the last set of dark tapings, he didn't break it, he fractured it. My bad. We don't know if that Jericho, if he's back in time for the pay-per-view, then this is, I guess, a perfect way to. It came at perfect timing because if he's back in time for Revolution, which I'm sure he will be, Jericho versus Eddie Kingston can happen. Jericho can blame Eddie Kingston for the dissension between him and Santana Ortiz. He said he could be like Kingston is poisoning their minds, making them think like Jericho's their enemy, and go from there. We'll have to wait and see. Now, Lance Archer returned 2 weeks ago. Lance Archer destroyed Adam Hangman Paige. Last week he destroyed Frankie Kazarian. And Hangman Adam Page got a boot to it, gave him a boot to the head, and then threw him outside. So, obviously, Lance Archer is going to be the next man to get a title match. When is that match going to happen? That match is not going to be at the pay-per-view, nor should it. Not next week, but in 2 weeks, on the 9th, we are getting a Texas Death Match. Lance Archer wants a Texas Death Match. He's getting it. It's going to happen in 2 weeks' time, and this will be a way to get Adam Hangman Page through before we get to the pay-per-view feud, which should be Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole is 9-0, and even if win or lose tonight, doesn't matter. It is a lights-out match. Obviously, you know who should win tonight's match, no matter what. So in 2 weeks' time, Hangman Adam Page is going to tear it up with Lance Archer in the Texas Death Match and of course Lance Archer is going to lose. I don't know where they go with Lance Archer after that, which is the problem. That's one of the problems with Lance Archer is that we're getting to the point that they're going to have him go up against Hangman Page. He's going to lose in a Texas Death Match, obviously. And then what are they going to have for him? He could be the guy who takes the TNT title off of Sammy Guevara. Maybe he goes after Sammy Guevara. Who knows? Maybe he's in that ladder match. More than likely, he'll be in the face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution. Tag team champions are shown backstage as we say last week, the Ass Boys were trying to make a statement. Matt Hardy says nobody cares about them, and it's all about Private Party, who are the best team to come around since him and his brother. He says this coming Friday, they will become the new tag team champions. And then Jungle Boy then says, listen, that watch is fake, and we'll see you on Friday. So that match is happening on Friday. I looked at the rankings this week, and I'm like, how are these teams and these people number one outside of the men's? Adam Cole's number one because he's had some damn good matches in his one on TV. Won a couple matches, like 1 or 2 on Dark, but he's mostly on TV. Private Party, Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, all these other teams and people outside of the Kings of the Black Throne, who are number 5, by the way, only having 1 match. All of these people are getting the wins on Dark and Dark Elevation, and it's like, why are they, like, it's kind of dumb that you have this top 5, and all your top 5 are winning matches that are on Dark and Dark Elevation, which are 95% of the time squash matches. It's so dumb. So yeah, Private Party are going to lose on Friday. That is getting taped right about now. CM Punk then comes to the ring for his promo. He is not out here to promo. He wants to fight us. He's got the long boys on. He's got his fist tape, not the white tape tonight. He's got black tape with like gray X's on it. He said, they're sick of hearing me. I'm sick of hearing myself too. He's taped up. The long boys are on, and he wants to fight. He tells the fans to shout his name, which gets an MJF chant. He then says that'll be the first and last time that ever happens. Then he says, last week I did get a souvenir. Opens his jacket. He's wearing the scarf. And says, it doesn't look good on anybody. He thought the scarf would be sentimental. He did look on Amazon, and you can get a pack of 7 of these for $5 with Prime and everything, which I thought was hilarious. But he saw you can get, yeah. Saw it also made in Long Island, so he knew it wasn't made of strong material. He says he wants to do it tonight. Punk says he is a realist. He doesn't expect MJF to come out in a cheap suit. He does expect him to come out in cheap suit and make excuses. He says he's gone through everybody and he wants MJF right now. MJF comes out, insults the fans, of course. He's like, are you guys deaf, dumb, or stupid? Do you want the match tonight? He says no. But he says instead he'll give everyone the match he wants next week. It'll be CM Punk versus, thinks about it for a minute, MJF. It is a dream match and the fans want in, at least they think they do. But he says, do you think they'll be beating a dumpster fire that is Chicago after that? Fans will get to see the real CM Punk, the one who loses his fake smile, who, when he doesn't get what he wants, he blames his failures on everyone else but himself. Punk is more willing to sue if he hasn't got his just due. And he says, back in August, he said 2005 he left professional wrestling. 2021 he's back. February 2nd, 2022, Punk will say he's leaving wrestling again. MJF points out that CM Punk was supposed to come here on the road to WrestleMania in 2014, but he no-showed, took his ball, and went home. Did you think he believes all the chants won't stop him from quitting and crying on a podcast? Punk says MJF listened because he's a fan. He believes the 2 best things he did was leave and then come back. He has never lied to the people. Some hate him and some love him, but Punk would rather they try and fail than never show up. He says MJF was one who stood in line for his autograph. He says his fans love him because he gets back up and fights, just like Cleveland does. MJF says, well, we'll test if he always gets back up. And out come MJF's boys, FTR and Wardlow. By the way, there was a dig at LeBron James, and Cleveland in there, which I thought was hilarious, which was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Anybody who takes a dig at the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James always is good in my book. But these guys come down to the ring with Sean Spears. Well, he comes from behind. He jumps CM Punk. It's a 5-on-1 beat. It's a 4-on-1 beatdown. Well, 3-on-1, I should say, is FTR and Sean Spears do all the fighting. Wardlow's off in the corner. Doesn't really want to be a part of this. He's like, whatever, man. You guys do you. So MJF comes over to Wardlow and is like, powerbomb him, big man. So they set up the chair. Everyone's around him. He finally picks him up and powerbombs him. MJF then sits on him in the classic Punk fashion, Indian style, and I'm going to say it because that's the style we know it as. He says, the same place Punk's journey started, it will come to an end. I will see you in Chicago, boy. And his music plays, and that is that. This has been fantastic. I mean, it's either Revolution or Chicago is where this match needed to happen. I can honestly see this be a 2-match thing, but MJF does not lose to CM Punk next week. MJF beats CM Punk in Chicago. MJF beats CM Punk if they have a rematch at the pay-per-view, where he should. And CM Punk goes away, not for like he disappears for a while, just to sell just everything. Like CM Punk loses to MJF twice, and then CM Punk goes away to heal himself up, take a break. He doesn't have to be here the whole time. It is getting kind of like repetitive to see CM Punk come out and just talk and talk and talk. He does it all the time. Getting this guy away for a bit would be nice for his uniqueness. Backstage, we see Griff Garrison and Julia Hart. No Brian Pillman Jr. Julia is got the attitude change. Mark Sterling comes in and he says Jay Cargill has chosen her for the next title match, but she has to sign a form due to the eye patch. Griff's like, wait a minute, Julia, that's not a good idea. You might want to take some time to recuperate. She's like, Griff, I can fight my own battles. Stay out of my business. Give me the pen and let me sign this. So, it's official. The Irrelevant Division, the TBS Championship, will be embarrassingly used. I mean, okay, I think this division fucking sucks right now, the way they're booking it. I love Julia Hart, and I know she's got a long way to go, but you really want to put those two in a match on TV? Thank God it's taped this week. Thank God they're taping that. That match is going to be bad. No offense to Julia Hart, she's still young. She was, Julia Hart came from the Rhodes families, the Nightmare family, or the Nightmare Factories, showcase that they do. She was there one week, she was there on the showcase, a couple months ago, and then on Dark the next week, and then paired with the Varsity Blondes. But the fact that you're going to have her go out there with the greenest champion you have, yeah, the women's division is just in a poor state, and it's still as irrelevant as ever. It sucks that I want to see good professional wrestling no matter gender, race, whatever, and the women's division just keeps getting shit on every single week by the person booking it. How do you have one of the best tag team divisions, one of the strongest divisions for the men, for the TNT title, for the World Championship, and then your women's division, you look at it and you see how weak and piss poor it is being booked. It just scratches my head how piss poor they are handling this shit. Julia Hart is not ready for any type of big match. Julia Hart is, just like Jade, not even in the business for a year yet, and you want to put her in a big match on television. Give these women a year or two on Dark or Dark Elevation. Have them go out and do some indie bookings. Get these guys some seasoning. Do a Saturday night matinee somehow. You guys, I know AEW should not be doing 500 shows a year. No, they should not be doing that. I know they do 52 weeks on TNT. Well, TBS now. They're going to be on 52 weeks in a row. That's not enough time. And yes, I know you get a Rev Bell, a Layla Hirsch, a Julia Hart on Dark and Dark Elevation, but that's not enough. They need to have Saturday night matinees. They need to have a house show. Having a house show once a week is not gonna kill this company. They need to have house shows. They need to. I'm not saying having 4 or 5 house shows a week. 1 or 2. If you have to, have a weekend house show match, because you guys like the women's division. A lot of the women's division needs seasoning more than anything. If you want this women's division to be anything it could be, it needs seasoning, and they're not gonna get it wrestling once a week or once every few weeks. It's just not gonna be enough. Now, I don't know if Julia Hart's actually going out and wrestling matches on the indies and doing anything like that. I don't know, probably not. But they need to get more seasoning. Jade needs seasoning. Julia needs seasoning. Anna Jay, she's getting a lot better, but she needs seasoning too. Chris Statlander still needs seasoning. She's very young still too. Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, all these women need to go and have some matches that, honestly, yeah, if you had a Red Velvet or a Layla Hirsch or a Julia Hart, Jay Cargill wrestling on the weekends for AEW, on house shows. They've done one house show in this entire company's history. I guess you can count Jericho's Cruise last year as a house show because those weren't, or a couple of episodes were house shows. because those weren't put on television, even though Tony Khan says they're canon. But you need more time. Hell, I wouldn't mind them doing an all-women's loop of house shows where you just have the women's division wrestling matches so those women could get seasoning. Dante Martin needs seasoning. Powerhouse Hobbs needs seasoning. All these young up-and-coming talent need more seasoning than they're getting. That's one of the biggest things hurting AEW for everything is that Sammy Gavar has been in this business for about, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. Darby Allin's been in this business for 5, 6, 7 years. You need, Lee Moriarty is a young guy. Lee Moriarty needs more seasoning. Get some house shows. It's not that hard. I'm not saying give me 4 or 5, they have a show tonight and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they have house shows. No. Saturday and Sunday. Try and book shows, if you're going to do live Rampage, that's fine. And then the very next day you do a matinee show when it's not a pay-per-view weekend. And you get a house show for the fans in that area, and you get more seasoning for them. Don't even have all the big names. Don't have a Cody. Don't have a Bucks. I mean, you got to have some of those, but have a lot. Have 85% young guys and 15% of the veterans, like a John Moxley. Maybe 1 week. Maybe 1 week Bryan Danielson. Maybe 1 week you have the Young Bucks. Maybe 1 week you have FTR. But majority of it needs to go to the young guys and girls out there who need seasoning, and it's just one of those things that, honestly, if they main event that TBS title again on Friday night, it's another match I'm going to skip because it's going to be an absolute disaster. Neither woman is ready for that spotlight. Ruby Soho should have won the match. Ruby Soho, and honestly, Serena Deeb should be your TBS champion. She would be the perfect person to be TBS champion, but for whatever reason, they decided because Tony Khan's got this mental retardation that Jade Cargill's going to be the modern-day Goldberg when that's not how that works. You want to know what made Goldberg special? The fans. Does Jade come out to a thunderous pop, people chanting Jade or Cargill? No. Most of the fans don't even give a shit about Jade Cargill. The fact that you're going to have her go out there and be TBS Women's Champion, bad move. It hurts the women's division. And honestly, the women's division is not getting any better by having two champions who are absolutely dog shit. Just the truth. So that match is going to be a fucking disaster. If anybody watches it, I feel bad for you because you're going to watch it. It probably will look a lot better on TV because they can edit. They have a lot of time between now and Friday to edit how bad the match is going to be because, again, Julia Hart is less than a year. Jade Cargill is coming up on her first year as a in-ring wrestler. Both of them are not ready for the moment on Friday. Just saying. Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. I don't care. This shit doesn't make any sense. Layla Hirsch wins by cheating. Who gives a shit? House of Black was shown in a video package. Malachi says we give people the embodiment of violence with Brody King, and people will be thankful. King, the setting was Black is just sitting there with this black, no light, a spotlight on him, and you can't see anything else. King just shows up and says, Pac, you denounce the house. You will be humbled. Just like Death Triangle, you both will be humbled. And just like Death, he disappears, and Black says, we are inevitable. Or undeniable, whichever. It sounded like he said inevitable. Then we see Sammy Guevara come back out with both TBS titles, TNT titles around his waist, which I don't know why. He could have just held one. He then appears with his cue cards. He's actually helped by Fuego del Sol, which honestly, this is the biggest thing also when we go back to the talk about the Inner Circle breaking up. Sammy Guevara, for the majority of this year, the last year, outside of when they did the whole Pinnacle thing and did the whole Stadium Stampede, honestly, it feels like Sammy Guevara has been just broken away from the Inner Circle. Yeah, when he originally won the TNT title, Santana and Ortiz were out there. I know Jericho was off doing something else, I'm pretty sure, but Santana and Ortiz were out there to celebrate with him. And it's just you never see him with the Inner Circle anymore. The Inner Circle is slowly just dissipating and falling away. So I think it's time for them just to just to just say the Inner Circle is done. Then we had the shitty promo with the fake champ, the faker, don't really give a shit. By the way, whoever voted in the Wrestling Observer Awards for her to be female wrestler of the year, what drugs are you on? Serena Deeb was the female wrestler of the year. How do you fucking put somebody who had less than 10 matches in the total, who had less than 15 matches in 2021 as the female wrestler of the year, where the only good match she had was a lights out match because Thunder Rosa carried her ass. She can't cut a promo. Everything she says sounds like fucking bullshit. So everything comes out of her mouth sounds like vomit. She's fucking terrible. And then we go to our main event, Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole, lights out. Obviously, you knew who was going to win this match when they made the lights out stipulation. The only reason they made this a lights out stipulation is so they could protect Adam Cole. Anybody who's like, oh, Adam Cole lost this match, he's gotten buried. It's a lights out match. When you go to the records next week, Adam Cole won't have a loss on his record book. You want to know why? Because these matches don't count. Just ask the women's champion. She lost the lights out match last year, the only one they had last year, which I think they had two in 2021, didn't they? Or 2020, didn't they? We'd only see one last year. Anyway. Excuse me. Lights out matches. This was don't affect your win-loss record. So Orange Cassidy has a win over Adam Cole by the end of this match, but it's not going to hurt Adam Cole. Adam Cole is the rightful number one contender going into Revolution. The main event of Revolution is going to be Adam Cole versus Adam Hangman Page. They have history, apparently. I don't know the history between Adam Cole and Adam Hangman Page. I didn't keep up with Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor shows up on Sinclair Broadcasting, which is my Channel 9 and Channel 7, my Fox and NBC affiliates. So every once in a while, I might catch that, especially if I don't have internet at the time. I'll sit there and maybe I'll catch it on a weekend. But never did I really know what the history between Adam Cole and Adam Hangman Page. They both were in the Bullet Club at one time, by the way. So I don't know the significance between those two, but apparently they have some bad blood between each other or history that they can feed off of, and that is your main event of the next pay-per-view. Adam Hangman Page is going to get through with Lance Archer on the 9th, and Adam Cole is going to get through whatever happens, his feud, whatever they're doing in February for him, and we're going to get to Adam Cole versus Adam Hangman Page, which will be a damn good wrestling match, and probably be the best pay-per-view main event the best pay-per-view main event in Hangman's career. Just saying. Him and Kenny had a good match, but you could tell Kenny Omega was just winding down for a while, and he wasn't going to be back for a while, and it just seemed like the match will be like Adam Cole and Adam Hangman Page when it happens at Revolution will be better than what we saw between Hangman and Kenny Omega when it comes to pay-per-view main events. So Orange Cassidy comes in second, and he actually turns his back to Adam Cole as he takes his jacket off, takes his shirt off. Then he comes around, takes his sunglasses, closes them up, and then bends them in half. And then just goes out to Adam Cole, and these two start swinging haymakers at each other. They are beating the fucking shit out of each other. They break off, they go back at it. It's a fucking hockey fight all over the place. Holy shit, these two are beating the shit out of each other. It goes to the outside. Cole gets launched to the barricade. Cassidy follows with a shotgun dropkick. Cole gets in a taste of his own medicine as he gets thrown into the well as well. Cole then drops spine first and on top of the steel barricade. Things are just getting crazy. Cole then pulls out a chair from underneath the ring. But who was to appear? Danhausen. What the fuck? He looks at Adam Cole, gives him his look of, I guess people said he was cursing Adam Cole. So are we going to get Danhausen versus Adam Cole in February? I guess so. I mean, tonight they said was the end of this feud between Cole and Orange Cassidy. So you're going to give me Danhausen versus Adam Cole? Please tell me no. Don't do that. But he just looks at Adam Cole. He leaves. Orange Cassidy takes out Adam Cole for a minute, and he looks over Danhausen like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, wow. Like, and he just walks away, and Tony Khan did make it official that Danhausen is All Elite. So, I don't know what's going on. I know he had a broken leg or something. He does look like he's walking around just fine. He just might not be cleared for action. But that's Danhausen, apparently. He doesn't wrestle all the time, but when he does, fans love it. But he can do a lot of things until then. So, looks like the Orange Punch, but Cole gets the ring bell, and he launches Orange, hits him with the steel stairs. He traps Cassidy's fingers and stomps on them in the ring apron. He continues to focus on the hand, and Cole then gets a chain, wrapping around before hitting the backstabber. Cassidy then uses a fire extinguisher to Cole's face, creating a separation. Both men have the hold of the chain as we come back to commercial break. But as they pull and get closer together, Adam grabs Orange and drops him in on his knee with the Oshigoroshi. I think that's how I said. Cassidy fights back and hits a Michinoku driver through 2 chairs. That was exactly what I thought that move was. Then they show a close-up to Cassidy's hand, and he is bleeding. Ugh, that looked nasty. That's the only blood we got tonight, though, was Cassidy's hand. Orange walks into a super kick, then calls for Brandon, and then Adam Cole calls for Brandon Cutler. Wheeler Yuta just takes him out. Bobby Fish takes him out. Chuck and Bobby Fish fight for a bit until Chuck Taylor gets super kicked by the Young Bucks. Young Bucks nail a double super kick on him. Then the 3 of them go for the triple super kick, but Roppongi Vice show up. Yes, Rocky Romero's back after being out with COVID. He's triple boosted and all that stuff, so he's back already. They pull the Bucks away. Their feud is not done yet because they're going to have their match that got canceled or postponed, rescheduled eventually, probably next week. Cassidy hits Beach Break, but Cole is able to kick out. Orange Punch then connects. Both hit, but he has too much pain in his hand for a cover. Cole looks for a low blow, but comes up like, shit. Like, he's like wincing and holding his arm. And then Orange Cassidy opens it up, pulls out a cup. He's got a cup but this is not ordinary cup. This has thumbtacks on the front of it. So when Adam Cole goes for the low blow, his hand hits the thumbtacks, and his arm hits the thumbtacks, and now he's in pain. Cassidy then hits his slow kicks and nails a Panama Sunrise kick out. This ends up leading them up. They end up going up top as Adam Cole tries to get away from Orange Cassidy. They fight into the back. Jerry Lynn is trying to protect Tony Khan, who was in the shot. And Jerry Lynn is used as as a shield, a meat shield for Adam Cole. Adam Cole ends up dropping Orange Cassidy through the table. They fight back out to the stage. Adam Cole then goes and takes out Orange Cassidy. He goes up top. He's gonna, for whatever reason, he's gonna try and go for a Panama Sunrise off of the entrance tunnel, which makes no fucking sense. I don't know how much more of an impact that's gonna make. But he looks down and Cassidy's gone. He's like, where the fuck did he go? Orange Cassidy from behind with the low blow. So Adam Cole, the low blow, give it. The low blow, take it. So he's holding himself. He's like really in pain. Orange Cassidy comes over, gives him the hug. And then Orange Cassidy looks over. And Adam Cole looks over too. He's like, no, what are you doing? You out of your mind? Pulls him over. They go through a big cardboard box, which looks very shitty, by the way. Cole is down. Orange Cassidy lands on top of him. Ref counts 1, 2, 3. And Orange Cassidy beats Adam Cole in the Lights Out match. Very good main event. Very good opener. In between, there was some good stuff. I don't care about the women's shit because it's just irrelevant because of how piss poor they book it. Wardlow's heel babyface turn is coming soon. Now, in a perfect world, tonight would have been the perfect time to turn him babyface because he's in Cleveland. He's in his hometown. That would have been the perfect spot, especially with CM Punk versus MJF happening next week. And he wanted Wardlow to powerbomb him. He could have been like, nope. And then he just destroys the Pinnacle while MJF gets away. But no, that is not the right time to do it. I don't know when they're going to do it. They really can't. I know everyone's like, oh, well, he needs to be the one to cost MJF the world championship when MJF is world champion. But, like, you can't even pull that. Wardlow, you're building Wardlow to a face turn already, and MJF hasn't even been in contention for the world title since his match with Jon Moxley 2 years ago. Been that long. Wow. But, yeah. very good show. AEW is finally, after that terrible first week, which was very, very bad. The shows are getting better and better. Next week could possibly be the biggest rated show, the highest rated show since their debut. MJF versus CM Punk, 1-on-1 in Chicago. It's going to be a big deal. Will it be a one-and-done match? We'll have to wait and see, but there is no way you have MJF lose. If you're booking this guy to be your next world champion, you have him beat CM Punk. By fuckery. Obviously. He's not going to get a clean win over CM Punk. You got to get the dirtiest win you can in Chicago, and that's what you do. How that gets done, we'll have to wait and see till next week. Rampage this week is going to have the match we were supposed to get last Wednesday, but for whatever reason, AEW decided not to tell us why it was canceled, because medical protocol, as Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson take on FTR. The tag team titles are on the line. The worthless TBS title is on the line. And I think there was one more match, but it's regardless. So Rampage, outside of that TBS irrelevant title, is probably going to be another good show. Oh yeah, John Moxey versus Anthony Bowens. That's right, that match is happening too. So Anthony Bowens, I hope you have your funeral planned, because John Moxley is going to go and is going to send you to the Shadow Realm, or whatever you want to go with. But that is your AEW on TBS review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frowns Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the Frowns Club, and find me on Instagram at the Frowns Club. And I will see you guys on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage, the final show for WWE before the Royal Rumble on Saturday. Until then, my name is the Frowns, and I'll see you guys later.